Hey everybody, Mike here from Ontario Overland. Over the last couple of weeks, I've seen a lot of people inquire about winter exploring. One of the most common things I've heard in reference to winter exploring is that there's nowhere to go and I don't know where to start. Everything's a snowmobile trail, I can't find anywhere, blah blah blah, all those things that we hear pretty much every year. The truth is that there is a lot of opportunities to get out and explore in the wintertime that doesn't involve you trespassing on a snowmobile trail. Just because the snow has arrived, it doesn't mean we have to stop exploring. So in this video, I'm going to take you through some of the steps that I go through when planning a trip in the wintertime. So by far, the most important thing you want to do is know where the snowmobile trails are. These are the official snowmobile trails designated by the Ontario Federation of Snowmobile Clubs. They have the green light by municipalities, the provincial and federal government to maintain and sponsor these trails. If you're caught trespassing, you can be charged if you're on these trails without a permit, and those permits are only available to snowmobilers, not to other four-wheel drive recreators like ourselves. So you can find this, they have an app for iOS and Android, and you can also find it on the official OFSC website. So I'm going to show you on the desktop version how to use this, and I've already preloaded it in Google Chrome, so I'm going to go ahead and agree to these terms of services. Right now you can see, as there is not much snow on the ground, most of these trails are closed. There's a few open around Northern Ontario, some up here in my area on the snow belt, but those are limited. But as you can see, the amount of snowmobile trails is quite significant, and most of these do run like private land. Obviously, when you see stuff like this, it's on private land. That's not going to be accessible to us no matter the time of year. So I'm trying to find something like this. You can see it runs alongside the road, but then it quickly goes onto private land. So for instance, this area here near the Allen Park Conservation Area, this is a no maintenance road during the summer, but during the winter time, this has been handed over to the OFSC. They have an agreement with the conservation area and the municipality to use this, to maintain it, and to keep it open for their use. So we definitely do not want to use that, even though this is actually on the OF four-wheel drive website as well. If you know the roads you want to explore, and you're headed out that way, definitely check to make sure that road is not a snowmobile trail. As you can see, it's quite extensive. It is continuously updated. It's up to date. So you want to make sure that you know for sure that you're not going to be trespassing on a snowmobile trail. Snowmobiling is $1 billion a year industry here in Ontario, and they have a very short season, so we want them to have that season. They have the permissions from federal, provincial, and local governments. Therefore, if you're caught on there without a permit, and permits are only available with snowmobiles, so with a four-wheel drive vehicle or ATV, you have no business to be on there. Let's just put it lightly. And if you're caught on these trails, you will be charged with trespassing. It's happened many times before, and it's only getting worse because people don't get the message. So please, don't be one of those people. So I know that was a lot of information to take in. It's pretty unnerving if you're new and you're concerned about where you can and cannot go. There are a couple places, thankfully, that are now open during the winter for winter exploring and winter wheeling. The first place we're going to take a look at right now is the Voyageur multi-use trail system. So you may remember VMUTS from our winter tour last year. That was in November of 2019. It was great. There was snow on the ground. There was maybe only about 3 or 4 inches. No big deal. But since then, the board of directors at VMUTS has introduced specific winter wheeling trails. These are trails that do not interfere with the snowmobile trails that run through their trail system. Right now, the only way to find out which trails is through their Facebook group, the VMUTS Experience page. So as you can see here on the trail map, the main camping area remains open. That camping area is great. It's got lots of room. It's almost like a little mini provincial park when you pull in there. It's pretty crazy. It's got some pit toilets. there's probably at least 10 campsites available, and you'll have plenty of room if there's other people there. Aside from that, the main crossover trail is remains open as well. It's kind of you'll see a lot of snowmobilers use it to cut across the area, but it's not actually an OFSC trail, so it remains open to the public. As well, this year they have added this other little loop here that crosses up onto the hydro line. This section will be a lot more technical. Therefore, if you're looking for a challenge and getting out there for some winter wheeling, that is definitely the place to check out. But if you're just looking to get out and try some winter camping, VMUTS is also great for that because of that camping area that has remained open and accessible. Mind you, the entrance to the camping area is not plowed, not maintained in the wintertime, so it's up to you to get yourself in and out, which can be a challenge on its own. That's all part of the fun. So the second place we're going to take a look at is RAYZPLACE out in Halliburton. RAYZPLACE is an all-inclusive motel, campground, and off-road park. I don't know if the campground is open during the winter. The motel with COVID-19, I'm not sure what they're doing right now. I know on Facebook they're constantly posting updates, so you're going to want to head over to their Facebook page, just search RAYZPLACE, you'll find it no problem. I've been there once a couple years ago. It's a great place. The trails are awesome, the people are awesome, and you definitely want to give it a check because they, even on their website, the website will be down below in the description, just like everything else. You've got the trail system right there. You can see the trails. You can see what to expect. They're rated. But obviously during the wintertime, ratings, consider everything black, right? Because everything is going to be a challenge. If you're looking for a severe challenge this winter, you miss that rock crawling fix that you got from the summertime, go to RAYZPLACE. It's going to give you the challenge and then some. Even this winter, especially since the popularity is there, they're really putting a focus on the winter wheeling. They've opened more trails than they had last winter, I believe. But you're definitely going to go there. You're going to want a winch. You're going to want a way to air up your tires after airing them down, because that's key in the wintertime. So definitely give RAYZPLACE out in Halliburton a serious consideration if that's what you're looking for in the wintertime. It's a private off-road park. Okay, so you're like me, you're not looking for a park to go to. You want to get out and explore on your own. Well, guess what? These are still your best friend. If you've been following this season, you've probably seen where I go in depths about the Backroad map books. They are by far still the best thing you can have. Now, in the Backroad map books, they do still show the snowmobile trails. However, every year, those OFSC trails change. Property owners get mad about people trespassing, garbage, etc., the usual. And those trails get closed down. Therefore, the OFC trail information in these books, you can't rely on that. You're better off going to the website, using the app, finding out the most up-to-date information you can get. However, the Backroad map books, just taking it and getting out and exploring, 200-300 kilometer circle around your location, it's by far the best, boots on the ground information you can get. When you get up to a place, you'll see the signs you're looking for as, a no winter maintenance road, and it might have an OFSC trail marker attached to it. It might not. If it doesn't have one of those trail markers, make a note of it. By far the best thing you can do is just grab a Backroad map books for your area, head out there, start exploring, make notes, and then use that information. It doesn't get any easier than that when you're trying to find a spot to go and explore or winter wheel. Some of these no maintenance roads that aren't OFSC trail maps, you'll get a very good idea just by browsing through the book. A lot of the road information for snowmobiles in the Backroad map books won't change. The private land is really what changes the most. So by just taking the book, looking through it, scanning through it for a couple hours, we're currently under this second lockdown, so what else do you got to do? Instead of going out and exploring, just put your head into one of these books and start exploring. As you get out of southern Ontario and you get into the more northern Ontario, like in the northeastern book, you'll start seeing a lot of the logging roads. Now, most of these logging roads, I hate to use the word fair game, but they really are. Mind you, northern Ontario does see a lot more snow than southern Ontario, so you have to take that into account. Some of these roads we've got there, There's logging on some of the roads. It depends. Loggers are definitely more active in the wintertime because the ground is frozen, so their machinery doesn't get stuck. Just makes sense, right? Now, with logging being more active in the wintertime, a lot of these roads way up north do remain plowed, or at least plowed to a point. Now, keeping in mind, we've gone up to the Algoma area in mid-February where some of these roads were plowed, thinking we'd be able to camp off of some of those roads. There was probably at least 4 feet of snow on the ground, which meant the snowbanks were about 5 to 6 feet tall. We ended up getting lucky and found a little offshoot to camp on that time, but you have to keep that in mind. Those snowbanks, it's going to take a lot of work to get through if you want to go down a little offshoot. And then still, you're looking at possibly 3 to 4 feet of snow. Now, when these roads are plowed by the loggers, yes, you can still go down them. They don't technically own those forest roads, but safety in mind, I would highly recommend looking up the local or the area logging frequencies. They're available on the Ministry of Ontario website. They do have dedicated frequencies, so if you have a ham radio, monitor those frequencies for sure, because especially in the wintertime, those guys are not slowing down for you. And there already especially on BC, there already have been a lot of accidents this winter, so you want to take all safety measures. Okay, so let's talk about my favorite activity in the wintertime, winter camping. Ever since we've added wood stoves to our Gazelle T4 hub tents, it's been a total game changer. I mean, there's nothing like waking up in that tent when it's dry, it's warm, you know, you're not waking up condensation all over your face, or beard in my case. And so people that are looking to get out for the first time and try out winter camping this year, obviously with the recent events of COVID-19, there's been a lot more people that want to get out and try it. I would definitely recommend looking into some of the provincial parks that remain open during the winter. There's McGregor Point, Algonquin at Mew Lake is one of the most popular places. These places are set up so you can just drive into your campsite, not have to worry about shoveling out a campsite. Everything is maintained. The washrooms are open. There's warming centers. There's park staff there. And with COVID as well, a lot of the parks that are open for off-season camping, like the Bruce Peninsula National Park that we go to quite a bit in the wintertime, they are not open for off-season camping right now. You can still get there for day use, but you used to have to park and then toboggan in your gear like little less than a kilometer back and forth from your campsite. But that's just not an option right now, and I know a couple other parks it's the same way, so just keep that in mind. But definitely, if you want to get out for the first time winter camping, just to try it out, stay to a provincial park where you're going to be safe. So if something does go wrong, you have an option to warm up. Because in the backcountry, if it's really, really cold, like minus 20 and below, which is not uncommon, especially in Northern Ontario, for the nighttime temperatures to fall below minus 20, it can be an emergency situation. And there's already been a few rescues from the backcountry this winter with inexperienced campers, and we don't want to see that happen again. So as you've seen in this video, the winter exploring part is a lot easier than the winter camping part, because it's very hard to find the campsites that we get to during the summer. A lot of these Crown Land pull-in campsites that we've used in the past, it's just not an option in the wintertime because they're not easily accessible. But don't let that discourage you. I mean, if you want to get out and try it, it's a great experience. My first time winter camping, I was inexperienced just like everybody else. I packed the wrong stuff. I got cold. I dealt with it. But the most important thing you can do for winter camping is just staying dry. If you go to bed dry, you're gonna wake up a little cold, but you'll warm up quickly once you get your boots on and start walking around. The most important thing you can do when out exploring in the wintertime is letting somebody know where you go. Weather can change, temperature can change drastically overnight. A very mild situation like getting stuck when you're by yourself can turn deadly very quickly. I mean, even in Southern Ontario, we do experience extreme negative temperatures, especially with the wind chill. If you're unable to get warm, that could be it. That is definitely not worth it. If you just want to get out and explore, always tell somebody where you're going. Go prepared. preferably go with somebody else that can recover you as well, because the winter time, I can tell you from experience, you're gonna get stuck when you don't think you're gonna get stuck, and you're probably gonna get stuck a lot. So I hope this video has answered questions for some people that were looking for answers. Please remember to always tread lightly, pick up your garbage, avoid trespassing on snowmobile trails. That is definitely the number one thing to take away from this. I'll see everybody back out on the trails as soon as we can.